All right, it's Straight Talk with Nick Shell. We're going to talk about hair loss. We're going to be talking about it very seriously. Straight Talk, hair loss. Do it. I received a comment yesterday. I'm not going to read it word for word because I want to do this censored version of it, and I want to take it in a different direction than perhaps where it was going. Police. And that is going to be this. Why is there a policeman, man? There's never policemen here. That's really weird. I want to take it in a different direction. So I made a video yesterday exploring the concept of, at some point, just going ahead and shaving off your hair, in theory, could make you actually look younger. Or it could make you look older, and that's going to be different for the individual. We were talking about that, and I was, someone had commented, insinuating that if you're in your early 20s, unlike me, who's in my mid-30s, if you're in your early 20s, then you are still trying to attract younger women closer to your age of early 20s. And it was said in a way that that was a bad thing. That if you look older, you're not going to be able to attract girls your age. But I want to challenge that thought. I totally understand where the person's coming from, but I also want to challenge that thought in that when I think back to that age, I think there was a certain intimidation for me if there was a guy who was older than me. He could date the girls that were same age, but he was older, because there's that attraction that girls have towards older guys. So I want to challenge that thought, in that, is looking older even a bad thing, even if you're in your early 20s? Because what's happening as you're leaving adulthood, or leaving, your teenage years and going into your adulthood, going into your 20s, what's happening, and I've been talking about this, what's happening is priorities are changing. People find different things attractive. Women are finding things attracting, especially as they're going into adulthood, more so than they ever did before. So if ever it's been a benefit to look a little bit older and establish that idea, I see how that could actually be a benefit. And I've seen this. I remember in college, there being very pretty girls, and they being attracted to these guys who were going bald, early 20s, but they were shaving off their hair. And these guys had no problem having very attractive girls, dating them or whatever, So, I don't know. For me, I think if you use it to your advantage, then you win. I think if you use it to your weakness, you lose. I think you really do have control over that. It's just a matter of how you view it. But surely we all know that definitely women are attracted to a man who is more mature. So I think if you're beginning to look more mature and you act more mature, even if you're not actually more mature, that in itself is going to make you more attractive. The best thing you can do on top of that is to actually become more mature. But that's a lot easier said than done. That's actually very difficult. If you recall, hey, they got a new dumpster. It's dark green. It matches my shirt instead of that bright green one. Let's look. Let's do a selfie shot with the dumpster. There we go. Instagram it. Do it. So, but my dad and I did that interview this past weekend, where he and I both admitted that it wasn't until our early 30s or mid 30s, because for me it was 34, so it was actually still mid 30s for me, that I finally got to the point where other people, I could not control my emotions. I stopped letting them control my emotions. I matured to that level, and it took that long, and it took him the same amount of years. So there's something to that, and I think that is something that people are not talking about as far as what is attractive to women, as far as that men can contain that amount of maturity. And I know I used to use the word confidence a lot, but I think in this video I need to use the word maturity. So again, in review, if you are, let's say, in your early 20s, and you're thinking, but look, I'm losing all my hair. I look older than early 20s. I would actually say I don't see how that has to be a bad thing. If you say, okay, I'm a 21, 22-year-old guy that looks older, okay, act older, look older, embrace it. That's your thing. I've seen it work. So, but I think you're definitely in a position you have to choose that. Otherwise, you're going to still trying to be thinking like a 22-year-old guy who looks 22 and acts 22. The whole idea is, okay, do you need to look 27? Do you need to look 26? Do you need to look 28? Either way, though, the maturity factor, I think, is the easiest way to label this and say that's what females are attracted to, much more so than the hair. Now, will anyone believe me as I'm making this 6-minute video? I don't know. I know most of you are much younger than me and have less hair than me. There's a good chance most of you will disagree with this video completely. But again, older guy, seen it, know how it actually works. I'm able to see what happens and what females are actually attracted to. I think a fundamental issue with a lot of my viewers are still going through is they're still judging the system on how it used to work in high school when it mattered that you had cool hair. And now that you're out of high school, those things aren't mattering. And the guys who realize that have the advantage. The guys who are stuck in the high school mentality of what it means to attract girls, they're going to fall behind. That's my theory. Debate it.